Along with customary classes on subjects such as finance, accounting, and marketing, today's MBA students are enrolling on courses for environmental policy and stewardship. Indeed, more than half of business schools require a course in environmental sustainability or corporate social responsibility, according to a survey of 91 U.S. business schools, published in October 2005. Pluto lost its official status as a planet yesterday when the International Astronomical Union downsized the solar system from 9 to 8 planets. Although there had been passionate debate at the General Assembly meeting in Prague about the definition of a planet and whether Pluto met the specifications, the audience greeted the decision to exclude it with applause. You used to think that being green was a luxury for your company, but climate change has made you realize that you can no longer ignore it. The buzz is about becoming carbon neutral, but where do you start? Consider your drivers. Do you want to become carbon neutral for marketing reasons, for financial reasons, or to help save the planet? The working unions in modern society are not very important. They preserve their functions only in the underdeveloped countries. On the contrary, in the developed states, workers refuse to join the unions, preferring individual work. Thus, working unions cannot survive the assault of modern economic trends and slowly move to a complete decline. Their initial purposes have little to do with the hectic pace of modern life. Weakness in electronics, auto and gas station sales dragged down overall retail sales last month, but excluding those three categories, retailers enjoyed healthy increases across the board, according to government figures released Wednesday. Moreover, December sales numbers were also revised higher. A unique characteristic of online shopping environments is that they allow vendors to create retail interfaces with highly interactive features. One desirable form of interactivity from a consumer perspective is the implementation of sophisticated tools to assist shoppers in their purchase decisions by customizing the electronic shopping environment to their individual preferences. A national study into fraud by bookkeepers employed at small and medium-sized businesses has uncovered 65 instances of theft in more than 5 years, with more than $31 million stolen. Of the cases identified by the research, 56 involved women and 9 instances involved men. However, male bookkeepers who defrauded their employers stole 3 times, on average, the amount that women stole. Imagine living all your life as the only family on your street. Then, one morning, you open the front door and discover houses all around you. You see neighbors tending their gardens and children walking to school. Where did all the people come from? What if the answer turned out to be that they had always been there, you just hadn't seen them? Teenage girls are continuing to outperform boys in English, while the gender gap in achievement in math and science has almost disappeared. The figures show that last year 80% of 14-year-old girls reached at least the expected level 5 in English, compared to 65% of boys. But in math, the girls are just 1% ahead of boys, while in science the difference is 2%. There is no single method of learning that guarantees success. How we learn that depends on many different factors. And what works best for you will not necessarily be that same as the approach used for the other students, even they study the same course. We are all unique as learners, although some patterns emerge in any groups of students. Education began in prehistory, as adults trained the young in the knowledge and skills deemed necessary in their society. In pre-literate societies, this was achieved orally and through imitation. In most contemporary educational systems of the world, secondary education comprises the formal education that occurs during adolescence. It is characterized by transition from the typically compulsory comprehensive primary education for minors to the optional selective tertiary, post-secondary, or higher education for adults. The best comparison is likely a magnetar, a young neutron star with a powerful magnetic field, the researchers said. Magnetars also produce bright X-ray flares. While magnetars are thought to be young stars, the two flaring objects in this study reside near elliptical galaxies, which contain older stars. So the objects are likely too old to be magnetars, the researchers said. Astronomers are scratching their heads over two mysterious objects in space that are unlike anything scientists have seen before. The objects blast super bright, super fast X-ray flares and could represent a brand new type of astrophysical phenomenon, the researchers said. Electronic discourse is one form of interactive electronic communication. In this study, we reserve the term for the two-directional texts in which one person using a keyboard writes language that appears on the sender's monitor and is transmitted to the monitor of a recipient who responds by keyboard. Researchers have found that divorce has different kinds of negative impacts on the planet, including higher demand for resources and a lower rate of efficiency in the use of household resources. People have been talking about how to protect the environment and combat climate change, but divorce is an overlooked factor that needs to be considered. Learning theorists from the 17th through the mid-20th century attempted to develop a scientific proof of certain principles that governed all processes of learning. Rigorous objective methodology was attempted so that the behavior of all organisms could be comprehended under a unified system of laws modeled on those posited in the physical sciences. When we recycle, used materials are converted into new products, reducing the need to consume natural resources. If used materials are not recycled, new products are made by extracting fresh raw material from the earth through mining and forestry. Recycling helps conserve important raw materials and protects natural habitats for the future. With each home producing a tons of waste each year, recycling makes big savings that can be spent on other public services that people enjoy. Recycling helps your council offset the cost of waste disposal by allowing us to sell the materials we collect to manufacturers to make new products like newspapers, bottles and cans. Ever stop to think where oxygen comes from? Your first thought may be a rainforest, but marine organisms take the bait. Plankton, seaweed and other photosynthesizers produce over half of the world's oxygen. Scientists believe that phytoplankton contribute between 50 to 85% of the oxygen in Earth's atmosphere. They are not sure because it's a tough thing to calculate. Phytoplankton blooms happen in spring when there's more available light and nutrients. Companies will want to be known not just for the financial results they generate, but equally for the imprint they leave on society as a whole. First, ensuring that their products contribute positively. Second, operating in a way that approaches a net neutral impact to the natural environment. And third, cherishing their people. Teamwork taps into one of the basic drivers of human behavior. The principle of social proof is so pervasive that we don't even recognize it, says Cialdini. If your project is being resisted, for example, by a group of veteran employees, ask another old-timer to speak up for it. Cialdini is not alone in advocating this strategy.
Flags can be unifying to a country, and many times are. A country can look to its flag flown high above the landscape in times of trouble and remember that the country will go on. People that have never met before can feel unity towards one another, knowing that they're part of the same country and fly the same flag. The Bermuda Triangle is a mythical section of the Atlantic Ocean roughly bounded by Miami, Bermuda and Puerto Rico, where dozens of ships and airplanes have disappeared. Unexplained circumstances surround some of these accidents, including one in which the pilots of a squadron of U.S. Navy bombers became disoriented while flying over the area. The planes were never found.
One of the most popular natural dandruff remedies, coconut oil, can help to reduce some of the yeast that contributes to flakes, explains Ms. Shah, MD, a Maryland-based dermatologist. She recommends massaging a small amount into your scalp and leaving it there for at least 15 to 20 minutes. The longer the better, she says. Some people even leave it on overnight with a towel or shower cap so it penetrates a little deeper. Smartphones have become an everyday essential for millions of us. We rely on them for everything from updating our social media profiles to banking. Taking out a smartphone contract that bundles together your calls, data, and texts with the cost of the handset can help spread the cost, but can also mean you'll pay more over the long run. The main production of soft drink was stored in 1830s, and since then from those experimental beginning, there was an evolution until in 1781, when the world's first cola-flavored beverage was introduced. These drinks were called soft drinks, only to separate them from hard alcoholic drinks. Today, soft drink is more favorite refreshment drink than tea, coffee, juice, etc. Just imagine how little your understanding of the world on the eve of the events of 1914 would have helped you guess what was to happen next. Don't cheat by using the explanations drilled into your cranium by your dull high school teacher. How about the rise of Hitler and the subsequent war? How about the precipitous demise of the Soviet bloc? How about the rise of Islamic fundamentalism? How about the spread of the internet? How about the market crash of 1987? Think of the terrorist attack of September 11, 2001. Had the risk been reasonably conceivable on September 10, it would not have happened. If such a possibility were deemed worthy of attention, fighter planes would have circled the sky above the Twin Towers, airplanes would have had locked bulletproof doors, and the attack would not have taken place, period. Social media is not just a tool to gain exposure, it has now become a necessary time investment for every business to make. Before the internet, small businesses only had a few ways to market their products cheaply, through methods like printing out flyers or sponsoring little local events. Now there are all kinds of opportunities out there on the web, you just need to know where to look. Our digestive tract is an amazing system built around keeping us safe and healthy. Along the path that food takes are specialized cells that secrete mucus and enzymes, absorb nutrients and protect us. Cells of the immune system are actively engaged in taking out dangerous cells. Acids are used to kill bacteria. Since the environment of the digestive tract is a harsh one, these cells are replaced at a rapid rate, making them susceptible to the chemotherapy that kills fast-growing cancer cells.